Good morning, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News, coming to you from our digital desk. It is a first alert weather day. We've been telling you about this for a couple of days now. First alert day means something in the weather is going to impact your day. That's a designation that our weather team gives for days like today, and it's really about the icy Arctic conditions from overnight. We have seen accidents all over Northeast Ohio. This is no longer just an east side event. This is everywhere. We're looking at live pictures now from some of our storm trackers, but we can show you scenes like this. First responders just showing up to this scene here. We've had yet another spin out. Looks like a truck there in the ditch. You're getting EMS to arrive. Trying to get a designation on this camera. Sometimes when they zoom in this far in the upper left, we can't make out exactly where this is. Looks like perhaps 90 maybe coming in. We see even more flashing lights. Look at the glow of the road based on the headlights, the sun coming up. There is ice everywhere. We've had this, we had that snow overnight. As we see first responders trying to get to that truck. There was snow overnight, and then the Arctic temperatures came in and just froze everything. In fact, it's going to get colder now in the next couple of hours than it is right now. You would expect it to start warming up now that the quote-unquote sun is coming up, and we do have some fairly clear skies, but the problem is the temperatures are actually going to drop with this front that has come in. We know that I-70, I believe I-71 North in the Strongsville area has been seeing upwards of 2-hour delays. Jamie Sullivan, our traffic reporter, traffic anchor, has said she has never quite seen anything like this. The delays in the Strongsville area. There is a jackknifed semi on 71 in the Strongsville area. The problem is they can't get crews there to get that semi unstuck and unblocked. This is another one of those days, and we've had a couple of them already this year. If you can find an alternate route, if there is another way in to work, or if you can work from home, that is the best bet. I do believe we have Vic Gideon with us. Vic, are you with me here?
Of course I'm with you, and actually we're on 480. We are heading eastbound toward 77. However, westbound looks like there's even more significant problems. In fact, you can see our picture here. Traffic moving extremely slow. We're a little bit quicker than we've been in the past. We're probably up to about 30 miles an hour here. But on the other side of the road, if you can see on the westbound lanes, they are really in a crawl. We just went by, it looked like some sort of a jackknife vehicle. We saw fire crews on this four vehicles maybe that had got involved in some sort of a minor accident, but we did see some fire trucks on the scene there, and that is severely impeding traffic as they're heading toward 77 on 480. We saw pretty much for a while there was a thin layer of ice, almost a black ice on the roadways. We saw cars, one truck spin out and cross 3 lanes to get over into the berm or into the off area, and it had actually swerved into the grassy area. So that looked extremely dangerous, and I'm sure that's just a wide or just a small sampling of what we're seeing on the roads. We're only seeing a small slice of what's going on. We're now heading towards 77 northbound, but again, you can see here the roads. A lot of snow there. What we believe is that some snow came in, got packed down, temperatures dropped. We're at about 17 degrees now, and that is creating extremely dangerous conditions as people are going on 480 and 77. But again, traffic it's moving. It is slow. People using caution. You have to make sure that you maintain assured safe distances because you're going to have to come, perhaps in some cases, come to an abrupt stop. You don't want to be skidding into other vehicles and causing a chain reaction accident. But again, roads are treacherous and extremely difficult to pass at this point.
Vic, you've been out there for quite a bit this morning monitoring our roads. Would you say, have things gotten better? Is this the worst of it? Where are we in that situation?
It is really variable. I mean, and again, even on 480, we see a variety of different scenarios. We got into an area when we got onto 480, probably at about Ridge Road, we fishtailed going extremely slowly just to get out of that ramp. So that was bad there. And conditions are changing almost as we speak. Maybe as they get that salt down, we saw ODOT trucks traveling on 480 westbound going the opposite direction of us. Maybe as they get more salt down, they're able to get more traction and to clear the roads a little bit. Now we're on 77 northbound. You can see here, this isn't bad. This is, we're going about 40 miles an hour. The roads look like they're wet but clear. There's not much snow on the road. But again, we could hit some patches. I think it all depends on where that lake effect actually laid down and hit the roads. So it's really been a very, everywhere we've gone, it has been variable. And again, 480 was the worst we had seen all morning, and that was just maybe 10, 15 minutes ago. But again, as we're heading on 77, it appears to be going pretty well. This is about as good as we've seen it. So I think it's really almost on a case-by-case basis.
Excellent. Vic Vinian out there in one of our snow trackers today. Vic, we're going to check up with you here in the future. Thanks for posting that. Be safe out there with you and your crew. We certainly appreciate it.
We'll keep you posted, Dan.
All right, take care. Again, another live look. This is that accident that seems to just have happened. This is I-480 in State. Looks like Jamie's going to move some of these cameras, perhaps look at some of the other areas. I-480 at Lancaster is obviously going to back up because of this accident. Out there, we also have Noel Williams has been live in one of our storm trackers. Noel, yet another day of just kind of rough conditions out there. You are out on the east side, I believe, in Ashtabula. Walk us through what you're seeing.
County in the Madison area. When I tell you these are whiteout conditions, these are literally whiteout conditions. This picture that you're seeing on your screen really does not do these conditions any justice. We can barely see the cars coming towards us that are in front of us. The roads are completely covered, and we are going a steady 30 miles an hour because, as you know, it's below freezing temperatures, so we're sure there is some ice, potentially black ice, so we don't want to slide. We have seen several of those city plow trucks going through Ashtabula County, Lake County, to make sure that these roads are safe enough when people do head out the door today.
And Noel, I think like we saw with Vic, it's not so much the amount of snow, it's what happened to the snow earlier, and you're just not sure if you're driving on ice or if that's good pavement under there.
Yeah, you do mention that. That is definitely a component. But something else that we also are experiencing is this wind has seemed to pick up a lot over the last couple hours we've been here. So imagine the snow that's been falling, and then you also have the other snow piled up from last week's snow blowing into your windshield, blowing into your face as you're walking out the door. So it's just been a big mixture, just makes a recipe for disaster.
Noel Williams is live for us in the Ashtabula County area, the east side, impacted by more lake effect snow today. Noel, I certainly appreciate it. We're going to check up with you in the future. Thanks for joining us here.
No problem, Dan.
All right, take care. Another look at that I-480 in State. That's how quickly they can get work done if they have clearance. They've already cleared that truck. Not only gotten that individual, checked up on, see if they need any medical help, but even better yet, has already gotten that truck out of there. So that they can clear that area. The flashing lights are gone. That's great. Let's take a look at the OGO camera. This is, or the OGO system. This is the Ohio Department of Transportation. And we're really looking at this Strongsville area where we know there's a jackknife truck, and it's causing a major backup on I-71 North, trying to get people into work. This is I-71 at Pearl Road, a major backup. You can see the headlights, even though this is one of those periodic cameras. You can see the headlights stretching all the way back in the distance. A major delay there. Let's go one camera further to the south. This is at the turnpike, and you can see the buildup of traffic there in the northbound lanes. This is one of those situations, yet another one of those days where if you can work from home, that is your best bet. Here's at Bagley Road. Be able to look at kind of a 4-camera position here. Look at that just jam of traffic. Does not appear, and we'll see. When we get these static cameras, I always like to pick out one vehicle. So in the lower left corner, look at those 2 semis that are side by side in the right lane and the middle lane. And every 5 seconds that this advances forward, we'll see how far they move. Maybe 5 feet, maybe 10, 15 feet. So that is the major delay in the I-71 Strongsville area. Jamie Sullivan, our traffic anchor, is advising people if you just don't have to be out there today, if you can call the boss and see if you can work from home. I'm also looking at some of these other situations. A 77 here. Let's see what at Rockside. Let's see what the incident here is. That there's a crash here on I-77 northbound to 480. That is never good. We can look over here. We've got another crash, I-480 westbound. This is a little bit closer to, looks like Parma. As we're getting into that, we can pull up this camera so we can see. You can see, yes, look at the lights on the right-hand side, the first responders that have gotten there. You can see, even though this is a periodic camera, that's a fire truck that's making the turn through that median to be able to get to that situation. But this is what we've been seeing all morning. Here's a live camera of that same situation. That fire truck has moved in position to block for what looks like maybe just a 2-car accident. If you look at the front of the first responders, the blue lights up there, it looks like you have one car that may have spun and is now facing the wrong direction. It looks like another truck may have collided with the side of it. This is just the problem out there, and I experienced it on my way in. You have trucks and SUVs who think they are immune to the ice. Somehow they have these super vehicles that get to travel faster than anybody else on ice. And this is the problem we've been seeing all morning. You are going to spin out. You are going to hit a patch of ice. And when you're traveling way faster than you should be, this is going to be the problem. And it is causing delays and backups all over Northeast Ohio today. We can't say it enough that if you can work from home, if you can stay off the roads. The problem is, I'd love to be able to say if you can wait for conditions to get warmer, it will be better. That's not going to happen today. In fact, we are going to get colder over the next couple of hours just because of this Arctic air mass that has moved in. I am not a meteorologist, but boy, have I hung out with enough of them. Have I listened to enough of their weather over the years to understand. Here we are out by the airport. This is 480. We've got another crash just north of the airport. We'll check the cameras here to see if we can see. Look at the backup now on 480. Now west of the airport, and these are I believe the eastbound lanes. Huge backup there because of the accidents. We'll check on this camera, see if they've been able to zoom into the problem. No, but you can see the stacked up traffic. If you're already on the road, if you have a loved one that's already on the road, give them a heads up. Find an alternate route. This may be a day to take surface streets, maybe a day to take surface streets and go back home. Here is I-77 at Purtis. Slow go there, and it's all because of the snow that we got overnight. And here is a live look on the east side. They are dealing with snow squalls coming in off the lake. The lake's still obviously unfrozen, So as the wind comes across, it sweeps up moisture. As it comes on land, because it's so cold, it almost instantly drops that moisture in the form of snow, and that's the problem. East side is getting a pretty good burst of snow right now, Ashtabula County, Lake County, but when it comes to downtown, it's because of the ice. This is again a live look of I-480. I believe this is coming into downtown as our Vic Gideon has been out there live in our storm tracker. This is I-480 right around Spring Road. I believe this is approaching the I-76 Spring Road exit, and you've got another crash there. And look at how many first responders that this ties up. You've got the fire truck that's blocking in the back. You've got one of those safety vehicles that we see there. Then you've got another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 first responders in front of that because somebody thought that they were able to drive on ice better than everybody else. Let's take a live listen into our Jamie Sullivan as she's working through this.
Spun in the wrong direction. This is the type of stuff we are dealing with right now in many areas, many spinouts, some though bigger than others. Look at these drive times. It is going to take you just under an hour and a half on 71 northbound just to get from Strongsville to Cleveland. That on a normal morning takes 15 minutes. 10 minutes it should take you on 90 from Westlake downtown. 41 minutes right now. And then look at that, the 30 minutes on 480 westbound where you approach that crash that we just saw. Now, here's some good news. We cleared away the jackknife semi we had on 71 northbound at Pearl Road, still though in the single digits for about 6 miles of stop and go traffic. This is right at Route 82, so you see these delays. Let's focus in on 71 right near Puritas. So this crash in the clearing stages, still though, only our 2 lanes to the left that get by, your 2 right lanes completely blocked. Now there's a crash on 480 eastbound before 71, and then here, delays on 90 heading in, passing by West 44th Street. There's a spin out reported 480 near 77. I looked, everything's over to the side. This is still blocking lanes, though, 480 westbound at Broadway, and this one's been here for a little while. We've got about a 4-mile backup, as you just saw, as we get down to street level. You see here at Lee Road how heavy that traffic is. So yes, if you are heading to the airport on 71 northbound, southbound, 480 from the east side or the west side trying to get to 237, we have major backups in every single direction. So at least an hour. Again, that's at least an hour extra on top of what it would normally take you if you were headed to the airport or even into Cleveland this morning. Now, I want you to look at this. Different story and much worse in terms of conditions in Madison right now. This is a live look from our First Alert camera network, and this is why we've got a First Alert weather day. We've got the lake effect snow coming in, icy conditions out there right now. That's what's been causing the crashes, but our snow coverage continues right now. Thanks so much for being here with us this morning. I'm Jamie Sullivan. 19 First Alert meteorologist Jeff Tanchek here. It has been very busy, and we want to make sure safety, that's the top priority, right? So that's why we've continued to give you these traffic updates, and you're watching this weather because it's changeable. And when you've got the slickness out there, I mean, that's why we've seen so many crashes.
So we saw the snow last night, and if we didn't see that snow last night, it wouldn't be that bad. But the problem is we saw the snow, we got a quick few inches. That was the Arctic air coming in. Then the very cold air came in behind it, just iced everything over, kind of like a flash freeze situation. And this is why we have issues all over the place. Now we're getting lake effects setting up. You just saw that camera in Madison there. And it's not even snowing that hard. It's the wind and the fluffy nature of the snow really reducing visibility, and it accumulates fast on the roads. Okay, we saw that last night. We're seeing it again in the lake effect areas here. So first alert, we got the lake effect snow east, bitter cold. Wind chills are actually below 0 in some cases. You're under a winter weather advisory or snow advisory for Lake County, especially northern Geauga County. Ashtabula County, it's now a lake effect snow warning. So areas...
As Jeff continues our weather there, you can see Vic Gideon. This is the vantage from his... he is in the storm tracker. I don't believe Vic's dialed in with me, but we're going to use his shot here This is 480, that same accident. In fact, I can show you the aerial view. Vic should be in one of those vehicles just passing it right now. And in fact, let's see if we can pick out Vic. You see that semi? Vic is actually the third vehicle behind that semi. You see the white SUV. He's going to approach this accident. You have State Highway Patrol there. Looks like they've got a couple of tow trucks. They know the importance of getting this accident cleared. I'm trying to see, want to look as they drive by. Doesn't look like that bad of an incident, but when conditions are icy, and you may look at this road and say, oh no, it's just wet. No, not when it's 17 degrees outside. Yes, they are putting down what they can. I have been in this industry enough. I have talked to enough ODOT crews that when it gets below 20 degrees, salt does not help. It does not work in this situation. It just bounces because there is no warmth for the salt to melt into the what would be water, and because it's already ice, and so it just bounces off the road. So a live picture here as they've cleared that accident on 480, and it is just going to be a slow go because of the conditions, the weather, the 17 degrees, the wind. As you see another tow truck, don't like seeing him go fast like that. There's nothing magical about a tow truck that's not susceptible to ice. So we'll watch, continue to watch these situations. We'll stay on live with you as we work through this situation. I want to get back to what Jamie Sullivan was talking about earlier. You can see the airport, Cleveland Hopkins Airport there, and it is a mess in all directions because there's an accident on 71, there's an accident on 480. We'll take a look at some of these cameras, might be able to pick up. And there's part of the accident. You can see, oh, guess what? An SUV that has slid out of control and is off the side of the road. I'm not sure what, when you pick up your SUV, if you're handed some magical key that says you can drive on ice faster than anybody else, but this is what we see. We've got yet another accident, another spin out. Because somebody was going too fast, and that is now going to delay everyone in that area. That's the type of situation we're dealing with. Let's look and see if we got eyes on another angle. If we can see any of the rest of these, there's 480 at 71. We know the backups in this area. Feel bad for anybody that's trying to catch a flight and didn't leave early enough. Here's, I believe, a live look at that same area. No, this is 480 in the Independence area. You can see another vehicle slid off to the side of the road there. That's the 176 arm that comes off of 480. But you have a major backup at 480 in the Independence area, 480 as it tries to get to 77, and it's what you're dealing with all over Northeast Ohio. Here's 480 at West 220th Street. Let's take another look here. We've seen that camera. Let's go to this camera, I-480, and this is where that SUV is. Still don't see first responders in this area just yet. That'll just slow things down even more. That's the 480 interchange with, I believe, 71. Let's take a look over here to see if we get traffic moving in any directions. It's not terrible here. What I hate to see in that lower left box is you can see some lanes coming towards us. You can see a groove where tires, the friction have warmed it up just enough, but then you look at the right side, the lanes going away from us, and there is that compacted ice that has formed on those sides of the street, those lanes, and it's just going to create this situation all over Northeast Ohio. This is no longer just an east side event. This is, and I can show you this map, all those purple indicators are cameras that ODOT has out there. All the red indicators are accidents within any given area. I want to check this one here. Looks like I-90 eastbound. We've got a disabled vehicle. Not sure if that means a spin out. Let's check the camera in this area. We can see the flashing lights up there in the left. Or just beneath that building in the distance. This is again I-90 at I-77. We're talking I believe that's actually even in the downtown area is what we're looking at there. So it just a major situation all over. We heard Jeff describe it. It was a quick snow last night. It came in, at least where I live, was watching it from about 8 to 9 to 10 o'clock, watching the snow come down very quickly. The problem wasn't so much the amount of snow we got, it was the cold temperatures that followed in after. The Arctic air, as you heard Jeff call it, it was sort of a flash freeze. And you can yell at ODOT all you want. We know they have crews out there, but again, when you get temperatures, look, in just the few minutes we've been on air, for about the last half hour, we've gone from 17 degrees now down to 15. So we are seeing the reverse of what we normally see. Sun is coming up. Okay, great. We've weathered the dark commute as you come in. Thank goodness this is all going to get better. No, that's the problem. It's actually getting colder. It's now 15 degrees, 2 degrees colder than when we came on a half hour ago. And that's just going to create even further problems. This is not going to melt. It is going to continue to freeze, especially when people aren't out driving, if people get to work, when they can get to work. And that's going to be the issue. We're looking again, I believe this is right in the Brooklyn area. See Ridge Park Square off to the right. So this is 480. Vic Gideon has been in his storm tracker all morning, and he is headed towards that major backup around the airport. And you can see traffic not moving fast at all. That is the good news. But boy, I'm not even driving, but I'm getting that white knuckle scenario, seeing some people driving quicker than others. You can see some spray coming up off the tires in the left lane. I guess that is some semblance of good news that they are able to get some melting. The problem is, as the temperatures drop, that left lane is going to freeze. It's only 15 degrees. You add some wind on top of that, it is going to put our wind chill somewhere close to either just single digits or 0. And we know that water is going to freeze extremely quick when you have temperatures that cold, when you are at 0 degrees for any period of time, when you've got that as a wind chill. Gonna look again here at our ODOT map. Looks like we might have those are construction incidents. We can see just the fact that this map is so many different colors, and I'm really talking about the roadways, the reds, the orange, and the yellows. That's never a good thing, especially out here by the airport. We're going to take another look here at I-480 at West 220th Street, and again, let's keep our eye on that semi in the middle lane. We get about a new shot every 5 seconds. So in 5 seconds, instead of moving all the way down the road, he's moved up about 1 semi length. So a lot of red tail lights there, a lot of slow traffic, basically riding your brake or idling and only making it, 100 yards in 15, 20, 30 seconds. That is not a good speed to be traveling at if you're trying to get into downtown for work. This is I-480 as it's coming in and through Independence. You've got the 480 bridge back in the distance, and we can see the back up there trying to get to 480 westbound. That's where we see Vic Gideon here in his storm tracker, and it's not crawling, but it's definitely not to highway speeds. Again, if you're just joining us, we're trying to give you the heads up. I love seeing small cars like that with their flashers on, but driving faster than anyone on the highway. That makes a lot of sense. Again, that was a really interesting shot. As Vic went under that bridge, Vic and his crew, it looked clear under that bridge, but then as soon as you got through it, you can see that clumpy ice that's all over the road. We've all driven on that. It feels like potholes. And that's just not something you normally see on a highway. That is a direct result of our temperatures today because they have been dropping since early this morning when that Arctic air came in. We heard Jeff refer to it as a flash freeze. Jamie Sullivan giving an update now. Let's take a listen in.
8 minutes. We are almost at an hour and a half still, 71 northbound from Strongsville getting into Cleveland. So take a look. We had a crash 480 westbound after 77. Still have emergency crews on scene, but you're starting to see some movement. Still, it's going to take you about 23 minutes, 480 westbound. You see right at the bottom there from 271 to get to 77. West side folks, 90. We're at 36 minutes. Normally it should take you 10 from Westlake downtown. The big news is the jackknife tractor trailer that we had on 71 northbound, that is gone, but the delays do remain. This is right near 82, and it is just bumper to bumper traffic, barely moving. Unfortunately, this is the case in a lot of areas. This is 71 southbound near Puritas. You see that fire truck still there taking out our 2 right lanes, 2 left lanes get by. They are cleaning up an earlier accident. I know I mentioned 90 slow go for our west side commuters. This is right near West 44th. Not a crash in it. It is just very, very slow. Then you see all those little icons. You may be like, well, what's that? What's that? Many of those pop up because we have a lot of cars that have spun out. 480 westbound at Broadway, still lanes blocked with a crash. Look at this backup. This is right near Lee Road, which gives you an idea of how thick and heavy it is. Now look at the conditions here, and I'm going to show you then what we're dealing with when I put the radar on top of the map. Minutes ago, we gave you the first alert to the speed drop to 50 miles per hour on 90 as you travel through Lake County as well as Ashtabula County. Look at this. This is 90 at the Ashtabula County line. You can barely see the road. They are inevitably going to drop this as the conditions worsen. We are going to continue to follow this though, but this is your first alert to very dangerous conditions on I-90. The reason why they drop the speed is because this is a spot that gets lake effect snow just like this. Now let's go ahead and show you a live look from our first alert camera network in Parma. Oh yeah, is that only 20 miles away? Yeah, from Ashtabula County.
Dan DeRose with 19 News. As we continue our digital coverage, we dip into our on-air coverage from time to time. We've got Noel Williams, who is out in the thick of it. Noel, give us an update. We just saw some of those pictures from Jamie Sullivan and Jeff Tanchek there on the east side where you are. You are in the lake effect, so now we're putting that on top of the ice.
We just hopped on the freeway right now. We are in 90 East. We are in the Paynesville area, and the last time I was actually on I-90 was maybe 2 hours ago. When I tell you it looked nothing like this, it looked absolutely nothing like this. There was no snow coming down. The roads were completely clear. This here is dangerous. As you can see, the car in front of us, you can't even see it actually from your screen. It's almost like disappearing into those huge gusts of snow. Now, roads here on 90 West, you can see the snow is gusting the ground. This is a little better compared to what we saw on those secondary roads. On those secondary roads, it was completely covered in snow, and those huge mountains of snow from the other days of snow days that we had, those were also blowing onto our windshield, making it almost impossible to see the road at all. If you are in the Lake County or in the Ashtabula County area, the conditions have definitely worsened over the last couple of hours. So if you are heading out the door, please be careful. If you could stay home, that would be the best choice. But again, here's another look at 90 East. This is in the Paynesville area. We have seen the worst conditions both in Lake County and Ashtabula County. Reporting live in the Snow Tracker, Noel Williams, 19 News.
And that shows you just how quickly some things are changing. Here's another look at I-80 at the Ashtabula County line, or I-90. And they are now dealing with lake effect on top of all the ice that has already been an issue. Here's another look at I-71 at State Route 82. This is why coming in from Strongsville, and south, trying to get into downtown, that Jamie was telling us we are at an 80-minute delay to get to downtown from this area. Take a look at the lower right. That is just stacked up traffic. You have all these spinouts that have happened between Strongsville and downtown, and each time you have a spinout, that closes 1 to 2 lanes, and it gets into a nasty situation. Let's get a live weather update with Jeff Tanchek.
In Lake County. So this is where we have, a burst of snow happening. Look, I gotta be honest with you here, okay? When you look at the radar, we're not getting, heavy radar returns. That's not technically, a heavy snow falling. You get little bursts of heavier snow, but we don't have any kind of sustained snow squall or anything like that right now. It's the wind and it's the low water content to the snow. That's what's reducing the visibility, and because it's so cold, it's going to accumulate fast on the freeways and the secondary road, wherever. It's going to accumulate fast on the roads. Another thing that I'm keeping my eye on, you see how we're kind of seeing the snow band across the western basin of the lake? That's actually moisture off of Lake Michigan. So remember, I was talking about this. Often we call it preconditioned air. Okay, you get the moisture off of Lake Michigan, and sometimes, and we think that this could happen, this will reinvigorate this stuff that's happening east of Cleveland. So within the hour, maybe hour and a half, we could be getting an uptick. We could be seeing heavier snow here with even blizzard-like conditions setting up between Menor and Conneaut. So we're going to be now casting that. First Alert Future View, doing a good job, again, picking up on, where it's going to be lake effect.
So Jeff Tanchek there walking people through the lake effect snow that is trying to stick around. Live look at I-90 at the Ashtabula County line. We're continuing our digital coverage. We've got our Vic Gideon joining us again from his snow tracker. I believe Vic's in the downtown area. Vic, what are you seeing? Have things changed? I'd love to give you good news that things are warming up, but that's just not the case. In fact, they're getting colder out there.
Yeah, we can see the temperatures dropped about 3 or 4 degrees just in the last hour. It was about 17. Now we're showing about 14 degrees. We are in Cleveland, but we're in the airport area, so we are just south and a little bit west of downtown. Now, we just went through the big accident on 480. About 4 cars were involved. It was in the left-hand lane heading westbound around the Brook Park exit. They were clearing that when we went through that. But now we see some flashing lights on 71. It looks like it's northbound, just a little bit south of 480. So this area has been extremely hard hit. And again, not the volume of snow that they're probably seeing out east, but really kind of a nasty, pesky snow here. We see now there's wet roads in front of me as we're getting off on the ramp here. But just to our left, we can see there's a lot of snow. And I think what's happening is, again, as those temperatures get cold, it's not melting the way it was. A lot of times the salt that the trucks are putting down that's melting the snow, the heat from the traffic starts to melt that snow. But now it's just kind of a slushy mix, and we have seen some of that kind of that slop with a thin layer of ice underneath it. So, we although using extreme caution, getting onto a ramp, we fishtailed a little bit. We saw a truck earlier this morning that had fishtailed, did a 360, and had gone totally off the freeway, gone through 3 lanes. And like I said, now we're going down 71, a little bit south of 480 to go see what's going on there. But we see maybe 3 or 4 emergency vehicles out that way. So it looks like there's some issues there. So continual problems throughout the morning. Again, hopefully nothing too serious, but extremely serious if you're trying to get somewhere. The traffic times are extremely, they are much slower than normal. The drive time to get to and from where you need to go expanded because of this. And I think we're on Grayton now. We're on 17 going east. You can see it's just sloppy, messy. And again, if you hit a patch of ice, you can spin out. And certainly that's what's been happening all morning as we've been driving around this area.
And I got to tell you, that sun in the distance, Vic, looks beautiful, but like we were saying, very deceiving. because even as we've been on air, we've watched it drop from 17 now reading 15 degrees in downtown. That does not promote melting very well. Vic Gideon with 19 News in the airport area. We certainly appreciate it. Thanks for checking in yet again.
Absolutely.
All right, take care. Another live look. You see the sunshine where Vic is, but there is no sunshine here. That snow getting even heavier in the Ashtabula area. This is I-90 at the Ashtabula County line. Thick snowburst blowing through there. So they're dealing with not only the Arctic cold and the freezing, but also now some new lake effect snow on top of it. In fact, I'm going to take a look at some of the, if we look at ODOT and the OGO system, you can see that they have reduced the speeds on I-90. That's in the Concord area. This is what happens. This is why they have digital speed signs out in this area so that they can, at a moment's notice, reduce the speed. And take a look at this shot. I'd love to tell you that there is some traffic there, but this camera has been iced over, or at least snowed over here, I-90 at Hermitage. And so that's the type of situation they're dealing with in Ashtabula and Lake counties. Again, one of the worst delays we've seen in the area is I-71 in the Strongsville area. We can take you there on our map. People trying to get into downtown from this area, and we are still seeing major backups. Let's go to a larger view here from the OGO camera. Take a look at the upper right, and that is just jam-packed with traffic. Rock solid traffic trying to get into downtown. Another view looking back towards the south in the lower right there. It is just going to be a bad morning for commuters in the Strongsville, Brunswick area. If you're coming into downtown from that area, I would either just turn around, give the boss a call. You can see I-71 at 303. Doesn't look like there's anybody out there, but that's because everybody is stuck in the traffic just outside of this range. It will get better. Unfortunately, it's going to get better slowly. Just the other week, it was last week, we were dealing with this same type of situation, but at least when it warmed up, when we got the sun up, the temperatures were rising and conditions were improving quickly. That's just not the case today. Let's take a look here, I-480 at 71. You can see the traffic heading under the bridge, pretty backed up. That would be the one thing. If you know somebody that's supposed to be on a flight, maybe a midday flight, you better get in a car now because the area is clogged. Getting in and around the airport, we saw Vic Gideon reporting from there earlier, and it's just not a good situation. Let's get another live listen in with Jamie Sullivan.
At least in the Cleveland area.
Yeah.
Different story, though, getting worse out in Ashtabula County.
Yeah, and you know, it's snowing. It's not a heavy snow squall, but it's the wind and it's the fluffy nature of the snow really reduce the visibility, and it accumulates fast on the roads out here. So we're starting to see it set up. Wind chill. This is wind chill, 4 below Cleveland, Akron, 5 below Sandusky. Wow, that's pretty cold. And only 21 the high. When you look at the temperature trend now, it does recover, okay? In fact, by Monday, I know it's hard to believe right now, but we could be back up above 50 degrees here. So we got the bitter cold, the first alert, lake effect snow east. Teens tonight, still some lake effect snow around east of Cleveland, but much less wind tomorrow. It'll still be cold, 25, partly cloudy. Remember, we have snow cover now, so that'll not allow a big temperature rise. But then increase in clouds Saturday, 43. Rain on Sunday, especially in the morning. Yeah, rain, 45 the high, Jamie.
Very severe conditions on the roads right now. This is 90. Look, there's an accident right there, or cars just pulled over because of safety reasons on I-90 and Madison. Your first alert right now to potentially a major issue here. We've got 19's Noel Williams in Lake and Ashtabula counties this morning. Also 19's Vic Gideon and our first alert snow tracker. We will talk to them and give you an exact idea of what you can get on the east side and the west side coming up next.
And Dan DeRose with 19, we're going to continue our digital coverage. This has gotten worse. This is that same shot we go back to, the I-90 at Ashtabula. You could, just a couple of minutes ago, see actual roads. You can see the fence right in front of us. You can't see traffic or the road. And this shot, that road should be about, I don't know, 200 yards. Okay, here we can finally see some headlights. That's the conditions you're dealing with out on the east side. A pretty good squall that has come in. Here is that same camera Jamie was showing us. ODOT moving the camera at this point, having a little bit of a technical problem there, but you do have two cars that look like they have slid off the road. I'm not going to make us watch that shot until it steadies itself, and it has. Again, this is in the I-90 Madison area, so we're talking way out east. I'm going to find that on our OGO system to show you this accident, to see if it's even made it up on the map. Yeah, it does appear so. Let's show you. And we're not talking a major accident, but no, they're just talking about reduced speeds there. Let me see if I can find the same camera. It's not that one. That one's completely snow covered. That's really just what we're dealing with. Just a really bad situation out east. But this is lake effect for you. That's why we can show you Vic's shot. He's more in the, let's see if we can see where Vic is here. I think he might still be, or is he on Spring Road near Independent? Oh, I don't think he could have made it there that quickly. Trying to get couldn't quite see that sign, but that's the picture that's being painted in Northeast Ohio. We had snow overnight. We had what Jeff Tanchek is calling a flash freeze because we got Arctic air come in overnight. It's just 15 degrees at the current time. And now look at the east side, that wind coming across the lake, and there are major snow squalls coming in. Looks like we've got two cars that, I don't know if they were involved in a fender bender or if they've just pulled off to the side of the road. And then you have here at the Ashtabula County line, right at the state line, and you can barely make out headlights coming across on I-90. You can see the camera shaking from the wind. So we've got a little bit of a mixed bag this morning, but the big difficult area continues to be the major backups on 71 coming through Brunswick into Strongsville. We'll take a look at our Strongsville camera here again to see if that is clearing up at all. We're just being told, where are we getting that from? Cleveland Police Department is shutting down the Opportunity Corridor. That is that new corridor from as you come up on 77. It takes you east, sort of a quicker way to get to the Cleveland Clinic. They are shutting it down because it is a sheet of ice. I want to repeat, Opportunity Corridor is being shut down by the Cleveland Police Department because we're being told it is a sheet of ice. The problem is, as I just said, that's an area that leads to the Cleveland Clinic. You have a lot of commuters. You may have patients who are trying to get to the hospital, people who have doctor's appointments. If you know someone like that, know somebody who takes the Opportunity Corridor, give them a call, let them know, find another way, turn around, reschedule. Don't go to the hospital, obviously, unless it's an emergency. But if it was just a doctor's appointment, the Opportunity Corridor from 71, and let me be able to, I should be able to find that here as we get Let's take a look here. I want to make sure I get this right. So there's, yeah, here it is. This is the Opportunity Corridor. And we can see that we've got red lanes of backed up traffic on 490. Problem is, it doesn't look like ODOT has a camera in the area. But again, this is the Opportunity Corridor. If you come up 77 and you see the signs for Opportunity Corridor, 490 technically ends right there, and it becomes that boulevard. And I am seeing red lanes of traffic as it goes through East 79th Street, as it crosses over Buckeye, Woodland, East 93rd Street. And again, this is what generally empties people into all of this pink area that you see on the top now. That's the Cleveland Clinic area. So the Opportunity Corridor has been closed, according to Cleveland police, because it is a sheet of ice. I wish I had a camera to show you. ODOT does not have cameras in the area, but you can see the red lines of traffic as it goes through there, meaning it is backed up. We're not sure yet if there are accidents in the area. I would assume so. That is probably what has alerted the police to it being a sheet of ice. Here is the nearest camera I have in that area. This is I-490 at Broadway. And I don't have a vantage point yet at anything in that area as it heads towards the Opportunity Corridor. But I want to repeat, the Opportunity Corridor has been closed by the Cleveland Police Department because it is a sheet of ice. I think our Vic Gideon was the closest in that area, but not sure where he is. Another look live out east. This is at the Ashtabula County line. They are dealing with major snow. Look at the lanes of traffic there. You can still see the tire marks, tire lanes, but you can't make out any of the markings. That's how much snow they're getting out to the east. Let's listen in live to Jeff Tanchek.
Geauga County, the bands could even sneak into northern Geauga County here later this morning. And then in Ashtabula County, it's a lake effect snow warning, but nothing is magical about county borders. Okay, we have some of the worst conditions right now happening in Lake County. Lake effect snow east, we got the bitter cold, wind chills around zero, at least, if not below zero. And we have icy conditions all over the place. And the main reason for the icy conditions all over the place is the snow that happened last night. The few inches that we got, it was a quick 1 to 4 inches in the Cleveland area, and then everything just iced over with the Arctic air. Now you look at the wider radar loop and you see this band developing along the western basin of the lake, north of the Lake Erie Islands. That's the Lake Michigan connection. We're still getting the worst of the lake effect snow with a southwest wind here, just south of Buffalo. So that is blizzard-like conditions there. And I talked about the Lake Michigan connection. You have to look at the other lakes. Okay, this is preconditioned air. And then what happens is you get that additional moisture, and that'll help to increase the intensity of the lake effect snow east here. But there's your Arctic air. 4 degrees right now in Chicago. We're at 15 now in Cleveland, 11 in Mansfield. West wind at 26 in Menor, west wind at 24 Sandusky, and there you go. Where you're getting that snow in Lake County, you're gusting around 40. Wind chill 5 below in Sandusky. We have several spots now in that 0 to 5 below range. Additional snow now through tonight, and you're going to get some spots locally over 7 inches. It's already accumulating in parts of Lake County here, perhaps northern Geauga County, and then the northern part of Ashtabula County. Jamie.
Well, our first alert snow tracker on the east side, still on I-90 in Painesville now. We want to get back to 19's Noel Williams. You said it was scary to be in conditions like this, Noel, last time we talked to you, and we don't ever want you to feel unsafe, so you know and we know that if it gets to that point, you guys are going to have to pull over. But how are you doing right now?
I definitely want to say things do feel a lot safer on I-90 compared to areas like Madison and in Ashtabula County on those secondary roads. Here's a look at I-90 East. Now, I do want to mention this. Maybe about 10-15 minutes ago, we were in Menor. When I tell you it looks polar opposite to this, it looks absolutely polar opposite. The snow is barely coming down. The roads are completely clear. So that shows a drastic difference of the different areas if you are heading west towards downtown Cleveland. Now, the further east we go, we'll hit areas like Madison and Geneva. Those are the hardest hit, and those areas were the complete whiteout conditions where you can barely even see in front of you because of that snow mixed with that wind, sending those gusts of snow hitting your windshield. And if you're walking outside, I can only imagine how much worse that would be compared to being in a car. Now, we have seen several of those plows on those city streets in Ashtabula County and Lake County clearing out those roads for people who are heading out the door today. But again, here's a look at I-90 East. The roads are being covered in this snow, but we're seeing most of those dangerous conditions on those secondary roads. So if you are heading out the door, please be mindful of that. Reporting live at the Snow Tracker, Noel Williams, 19 News.
Dan DeRose with 19 now. We're going to continue our digital coverage as we want to reiterate we have breaking news. The Opportunity Corridor has been closed by Cleveland police. They are reporting that it is a sheet of ice and that it has been closed, and that is going to impact the Cleveland Clinic, not only its employees, but anyone who's coming up from the south that had appointments at the Cleveland Clinic. If you know someone who is planning to head this direction, give them a call, give them a heads up. Their best bet may be to take 77 all the way into downtown and then take the normal Carnegie route out to the Cleveland Clinic. University hospitals will all be included in this. Here is 490. It's basically 77 comes up from the south. Opportunity Corridor is this direction, right where 490 technically comes to an end, and that turns into that two-way corridor. It has been closed. Opportunity Corridor then moves through the east side, crosses Kinsman, will cross 75th, then 79th. This is also in the Woodland Buckeye Road area, and then again empties into that pink shade there on the map. That's the Cleveland Clinic area. Then you have University Hospitals, then just up on Euclid in this area as well. So again, the big breaking news in the last 10-15 minutes is that the Opportunity Corridor has been closed. There are no ODOT cameras in the area. This is going to be the best I can do for the time being. I-490 at Broadway, you can see quite a bit of a backup, but part of that is because there's already construction in this area. You can see it's already down to one lane. That's because of planned construction. But as I think people in the right side of this view, on the right-hand side, that is the area trying to head into the Opportunity Corridor. I'm going to keep an eye on one of these vehicles to see if these are moving. It does appear to be moving. Maybe they might have Opportunity Corridor closed just to add a different area. Again, I-490 just basically ends there. What they might be doing is if they've closed it at East 55th, or say they've closed it here at Kinsman, and they're redirecting people either back to 77 or perhaps to take some of those surface streets. But that's a big deal to have Opportunity Corridor closed at this point, especially as we get into early morning and mid-morning appointments at university hospitals and Cleveland Clinic. That's one of the reasons they built the Opportunity Corridor, is to be able to get quickly to the east side, or at least a little quicker than having to come into downtown and take Carnegie through the near east side. I want to go back to, you can see the airport here, the runways. This is where we have seen the biggest delays coming up 71. I'm going to take one of the cameras here, maybe in the Brook Park area, to see how this is looking. The fact that you're starting to see some space between cars, that's better news. Let's keep an eye on that white van as I'll take the banner down. You'll see that white van in the lower part of your screen, and 5 seconds later, how much further it's gotten. It's still slow. We'll keep our eye on the FedEx truck. Maybe that'll be a little bit easier as this camera loops again. And yeah, that's still very slow. Over 5 seconds, they're still crawling, but there is some space. And the conditions of the road, that's the other part I want to look at. It does appear to be in those left lanes, at least, but see, that's what could be deceiving. They look like they're dry. They look like they've been driven up, but I bet that's not dry. I bet that is caked ice. I bet that is built up ice and snow here in these two lanes, and that's why it is an issue. So we'll keep our eye on that. And that's why black ice and driving these conditions can be so deceiving, is because of that thick layer of ice that looks like pavement. But you can see I-71 at Pearl Road here, still a major backup. The last check with Jamie Sullivan, from the Strongsville area, it was an 80-minute drive to get to downtown because it is so backed up. We'll go a little bit further down 77. Here's 77 at 82. Look at the upper right. The upper right of this quad box, you can see major backup there, but the word is getting out. It looks like it's thinning at least a little bit. People may have just decided to stay away. And we've just found out, I've just been told by one of our executive producers, I-271 at 65-422. Cass, is that east? Is that east? Or give me a city that's nearby. We've got a, by where? By North Randall. Warrensville Center, we've got a jackknife, a new situation, I-271 at 422. There's 322. Not sure if I'm going the right direction here. Let's go back south. I'm surprised it's not on the map yet. 271. Oh, I bet this is, yeah. I think we're seeing why, if you take a look at this just absolute mess here, let's look at this camera here. Oh my goodness, there it is. Somebody may want to give Jamie a heads up. Here is I-271 at 422, and yet another situation. This is what we're dealing with. This is a live picture. It'll regenerate here every 5 seconds as we go through this. But this is just happened, a jackknife semi. If you look back at the, you can see here in the middle of your screen, I'm not sure if this semi came across, but that had to have been a scary situation there for anybody driving. Again, the unfortunate part here is that people see the sun coming up and they think that this means that situation is better. I can pick up my speed, but the Arctic air has kept things frozen. So breaking news here, a jackknife semi, you can see right there. People say, why is the term jackknife? Because, well, think about a switchblade knife or a knife that you have to pull the blade out. That's exactly what has happened. The cab has wrapped around to the back and can't move up. So you have a major tie-up. Let's just make sure we get so people know this area. This is 271, and it looks like it is the, let's see which lanes. They're technically calling it the southbound lanes of 271 in the, I believe this is Woodmere. There's Emery Road coming out of Orange and Warrensville Heights. Is this area. I don't believe Emery has an entrance there. It does not. But Regency Hospital there we can see on the map, if you know where Regency Hospital is in the Warrensville, Bedford Heights area. 271 is going to have some major delays because we have a jackknife semi in this area. We can show you the OGO pictures from the ODOT camera system. And it is, that is the definition of a jackknife truck. And it looks like traffic is getting by. What's going to happen, though, is there are no first responders there yet. They are probably on the way, but they are going to have to block traffic to get this situation remedied. I want you to also notice, take a look over here. This looks like that truck got very lucky. It looks like this is either the beginning of a median or one of those concrete barriers, and he missed that by not much. Had this trailer continued to slide and hit this barrier right here, it could have flipped. So what is a bad situation already could have been worse. But what really just kind of gives me the chills is, I want you to look back here. Was this truck traveling in, I think these are the commuter lanes. This might be where the commuter lanes split, or at least the split for 271 and another direction. But look at the skid marks, the sliding through this snow right here, clearly created by this truck. And the fact that he didn't hit anyone, at least at this point, it doesn't appear. Granted, somebody could have been hit and is up and out of this picture view. But you see these cars here having to, yeah, they're going to adjust this. Cars are now having to merge and drive through some of that snowy area where that semi is jackknifed. Again, you're looking at this live. This just happened in probably the last 5 to 10 minutes. I-271 at US 422. These are the southbound lanes. We have a jackknife truck. It's at the 422 split, and it's where it splits with 271, 480 northbound. There's a lot of different directions you can go here. 480 north and 271. So bad situation made even worse. Here's the actual site of that. It's just past, at least it runs underneath that highway, is Emory Road and Richmond Road. As we'll wait and kind of watch this camera and see when first responders can get there. But here's the problem: as you look at all that traffic now trying to merge and get by, we still don't have first responders there. They're going to have to shut down this area, and that's going to make things even worse. Speaking of shutdowns, want to reiterate, until we hear, we believe that the Opportunity Corridor, that's 490, if you were coming up 77, headed towards University Circle, University Hospitals, Cleveland Clinic, and you take that Opportunity Corridor, or you know someone who is headed that direction, it has been closed. Cleveland Police calling it a sheet of ice, and the Opportunity Corridor has been closed. We don't have any reports of accidents as of yet, but it is closed by the Cleveland Police. We'll keep an eye on that to get it reopened. And in here now we've got a live camera in that area at 271, 422 of that jackknife truck. And this is just going to create an even worse situation out there today. You can see cars that were trying to get to that split are now going to have to exit, including semis, as the conditions out there are not getting better. I would love to tell people that the sun is coming up, the temperatures are rising, things will be better. That's just not going to happen today. This is going to be an Arctic air kind of day. The whatever has had a chance to thaw because maybe they've seen enough traffic, if it has had a chance to thaw and then it sits for any period of time, it's going to freeze over very quickly at 15 degrees out there. I want to see how far this backup is now because of this jackknife truck. Let's go back to the nearest camera on 271. It looks like we might have to go up a ways. Why can't we get another camera in this area? Wow. The next camera is all the way up here in Woodmere. Let's see if this has backed up to Woodmere yet. Looking at our viewpoint here. Lower right quadrant here. Look at the traffic backing up on the upper right side of that lower right camera. That is going to create that backup in the Woodmere area on 271. If you were coming through Pepper Pike, Beechwood, thinking you were going to get on 271, if you know somebody in this area, somebody was going to go do some shopping in the Beechwood area, Pepper Pike area, give them a heads up. Stay away from 271 southbound as we have that jackknife truck right here, and I still don't see any first responders in the area. I also don't see the driver of this truck. Not sure if he is just staying in there possibly for his own protection. That might be company policy. Don't get out and put yourself at risk. Somebody else could slide. But still no first responders, and they're going to need to get some pretty heavy equipment there to clear this vehicle. We continue our coverage here. It has been a bad day on Northeast Ohio roads. Let's take another look at Jamie Sullivan, her latest traffic report.
Visibility. This is right at the Ashtabula County line, so right in Geneva, Route 528, where many of these cars are driving with their flashers. The variable speed limit zone is at 50 miles per hour right now. And Jeff, you definitely need it at 50, maybe even lower than that. ODOT, they're going to use their discretion to decide, but because of these conditions.
Yeah, and this is about the worst that we've seen all morning regarding the lake effect situation here, okay? So we were expecting this for things to kind of ramp up here through the morning. And then what has my attention is what's happening across the rest of the lake. So we're kind of back building a snow squall here, and this is starting to sag south. So there is a potential, if this continues to sag south here and, you know, kind of stays put, this could sneak into the Cleveland area, but clearly we are getting an uptick in the lake effect now east. Very dangerous driving conditions there. And a look at the bitter cold. We're down to 5 below wind chill now in Cleveland. So we got below 0 wind chills out there. So now through tonight, you're under a snow advisory, Lake County, Northern Geauga County. It's a lake effect snow warning for Ashtabula County. Nothing is magical about county borders, okay, when they issue these advisories and warnings. But the northern part of these counties, okay, that's where we're going to see the bulk of the accumulating snow. And then, of course, in Erie, Pennsylvania. I would not advise, okay, driving into Pennsylvania, certainly not driving, towards Buffalo, because it is very bad between Cleveland and Buffalo along I-90, and that's going to be the case through the day. So we have the lake effect snow, first alert through the day here. Wind chills around 0, below 0. Bitter cold, icy conditions all over because of the snow that fell last night and then the Arctic air that came in behind it. Okay, we picked up 3.8 inches of snow last night at Cleveland Hopkins Airport. Not a good combination. 21 today, 25 tomorrow. By Monday, yeah, we changed things up again, 52. Outside of where you have the lake effect, the sun's going to shine. We're down to 14 for the low tonight. Not nearly as windy tomorrow, 25, above 40 on Friday.
Dan DeRosa with 19 News. We're going to continue our coverage. Live look here. This is Vic Gideon and crew that I believe are on, I think this is 77 headed north. He's going to try and get us to that Opportunity Corridor area to see exactly where that is closed. I want to reiterate breaking news in the last 10, 15 minutes that the Cleveland Police Department has closed Opportunity Corridor. I'm going to keep my eye on that jackknife truck, but you can see what is happening now here on I-77 North, that they're closing Opportunity Corridor. That's going to force everybody to go all the way downtown. Anybody that was trying to get to University Circle. If you have a commuter, you know somebody who takes the Opportunity Corridor to get to University Circle. And as I speak, here is our first responder getting to that jackknife truck here in this, we're calling it the 422-480 split on 271. It's kind of this middle area. It's between Warrensville and Orange, Bedford Heights to the south, North Randall to the west. As we see, that looks like the driver there appears to be, or are they knocking? Yeah, they knocked on the door. Here's the driver. Driver appears to be okay and is now out of that vehicle, out of that semi. And working with the first responders to arrive of what will be many, and this is going to cause a huge issue for anybody. And again, I want to reiterate where this is on the map. So let's take a look. This is where you see that red exclamation point in the middle of your map. That is exactly where this is. You can see Orange off here to the east. You've got Warrensville Heights to the west. You can see Warrensville Center. Those are just the communities around this. But if anybody was coming south from the Beechwood area, from Pepper Pike on 271, you're going to run into this accident and major backups and delays. And I'm assuming at some point they're probably going to have to close this for at least a period of time to get in some heavy equipment, get that truck straightened around. You might ask, why doesn't that truck just drive forward? You can do a lot of damage at this point. There could already be some damage to the trailer portion of that semi. And if you were to just try and drive forward, you can do a massive amount of damage to both the trailer and the truck. It's not as easy as just straightening it out. So they're going to have to bring in some heavy equipment at some point. Let's go back to our issues coming up to Opportunity Corridor. It looks like Vic Gideon about to give a report, probably in our live coverage. So we're going to stick with this for just a moment as Vic gets a little bit closer to this, what's going to be a mess on Opportunity Corridor.
Once one crash is cleared, then there's another one.
Yeah, so I want to walk.
And actually, we'll go to Jamie Sullivan and her live report
Passing by
first.
Chagrin Boulevard. This is the jackknife semi that you just saw. We now have police here on scene, but this is the type of situation that is going to be here for a long time. This is right at 422 and 480, right where you have to make that decision if you're getting on 422 towards Youngstown or 480 closer towards Broadway. So with this is one of our big issues. The other issue that we've got is the conditions that we're dealing with. This is 90 right near the Ashtabula County line. So this is in Geneva between Route 528 and Route 534. You can barely see the cars going through here, but there are cars that have gone through here. These conditions, it is lake effect snow. So you are not going to see this if you live on the west side. This is really focusing in on Ashtabula County as well as Lake County. The other issue that is a major one for us is, yes, the Opportunity Corridor completely shut down right now because of the icy conditions. So if you're on 490, it is still open. It's just beyond that point as you continue east. I do want to show you a couple of our cameras right now. This is 71 at Snow Road. Look at these cars. They are driving on that wet, slushy stuff. And this is where you don't have any traction. So on mornings like this, when we see many of these cars spun out, it's because they tap the brakes and then you hit the median wall. One other camera I want to show you right now is 90. The delays for our west side commuters. We just heard from someone say they didn't go over 20 miles per hour on their whole drive in. So the extra time is definitely a pad that you need on mornings like this. We're going to continue to update you and give you the first alert to those drive times, which are quite staggering this morning from what they normally are at, ladies.
It has been such a hectic morning, and it's crazy because look at when you take a live look outside, look at where it looks from Akron, but then Madison. Madison is in that top left corner. You can't even really see.
Madison.
Exactly.
The stark difference in highways right now is unreal.
And we've kind of been saying this all morning long. I know our digital anchor, Dan DeRose, has been saying this. He's been live too on digital, that you see the sun is out. So you think, oh, okay, it's fine. The roads, you know, they're not that slick. Even if you don't see the sheet of ice, it is still icy out there.
Yeah, we got two scenarios happening right now. We got the lake effect snow that's bringing the rapidly changing conditions in Lake County, and we've got the bitter cold temperatures in the teens with 30-40 mile an hour wind gusts that are really allowing the salt not to work very well on the roadways, creating that sheet of ice. Those two reasons alone are why the commute has been so treacherous this morning. So let's talk about the snow right now and what we're expecting here as we head through the rest of the morning. Right now we've got a good band. You just saw in our Madison camera moving through Menor, Leroy, as well as the Paynesville area getting hit the hardest. We're starting to see a Lake Michigan connection with this band we're watching over Lake Erie that is helping fuel more moisture in. So we're keeping a real close eye on this band that is over the lake right now. This is where we're seeing some of those near whiteout conditions. One of our snow trackers in this area right now, we're actually going to check in with her here shortly. We've also got a couple of snow bursts through portions of Cuyahoga County near the 271 corridor, Shaker Heights.
That's the latest weather from our Kelly Doback, Dan DeRose here. We're going to continue our digital coverage. Another live look at that jackknife truck and the situation that it is presenting. Our first responder is there. We did see the driver come out of the cab. Appears to be okay, so that's the good news. The problem is this is going to be a backup for some time. I want to go back to our OGO camera or our OGO map. Because I'm starting to see more issues pop up closer to downtown on both 90 and 77. Anytime you see one of these red exclamation points, that means there's been some sort of incident. We've got a crash here on I-90 in the eastbound lanes. We're going to take our first look here to see what we can have here. Not quite seeing anything on this is the inner belt, obviously, as it comes into downtown. It looks like they're trying to find where that situation might be. We can come to this camera. Just seeing a normal backup, but it is going to be that kind of morning. And you heard Shannon reiterate, people are going to start thinking that there is sun out, so I should be able to drive my normal speed. And that's where we're going to get continual spinouts. Just was told east of Garfield Heights on I-480. So let's get down to I-480, east of Garfield Heights, right around Lee Road. Let's see where we can find one of our cameras here. Might have a new spinout. There's Transportation Boulevard. Let's look at I-480 Granger. And I bet this is our area here. We've got a crash on I-480 eastbound. And we do have now traffic backing up I-480 at Lee. Looks like we have a car spun out and it's facing oncoming traffic. I'm trying to look in this picture. It looks like it's over here on the side. If you look to the left side, I'm going to guess that this is somebody that tried to come on this entrance ramp here. I believe that's an entrance ramp, and just absolutely lost control, tried to speed up, and that is going to be the problem. By the way, folks, look at the temperature in your lower left part of the screen here. We are now down to 14 degrees. Sun up, temperatures falling. That's a problem. And that's why we're getting even more and more accidents out there. People thinking that, it's about to be warm, but it's just not a good situation. I want to find, looks like we might have another incident here. Or is this our same? Yeah, this is the semi. And they have moved their camera just a little bit as they look at that. But the reason they've moved this is look at the backup that this has created. This is the I-480 split, as you heard Jamie Sullivan talk about it. You have to make your decision. Are you going 422 towards Warren, or are you going to hit 480 to head towards maybe downtown? And that is now the major backup that jackknife truck has created. In fact, we can take that same camera live, and you can see people are maybe crawling. That might be a little faster than idling, but that's definitely not on the gas because of that jackknife truck, and that's going to be a problem for quite some time. I think what we're going to do is I think we're going to step away from this, from our coverage. Live look from Vic Gideon. Let's listen into his report.
Certainly a rush hour that'll be prolonged a little bit because of all these delays. Reporting live from the storm tracker in Cleveland, approaching Opportunity Corridor, Vic Gideon, 19 News.
And we've just caught the end of that. Vic may turn that camera around, and here is another incident. I'll have to wait and see where this one is. Looks like Jamie has pulled that camera in. This kind of looks like 71 now south. Is there a situation 71 south around Newburgh? Let me check on this map here. Yeah, it is. Boy, I don't know why I know that so well, but I think I've just picked that out. 71 south. Let's see if I've got another camera here. I think this is just outside of just trying to find the camera here that can tell me exactly where that is. Looks like 71 south, kind of in the Newburgh area. Or 77 south, I mean. But again, another spin out. This one looks like it may involve some sort of delivery truck and a passenger vehicle, and she's gone back to our jackknife truck there as still just one responder in that area. Go back to Vic Gideon's shot here. I believe this is him getting off of Opportunity Corridor. Vic, let me see if Vic is with me. Vic has not called in, but I do believe this is the area of 490 where it's under construction. He may have passed that area of Opportunity Corridor, or is this? Yeah, and look at the backup on the right. He is now coming through. I wonder if they had to turn him around. We'll try and get him dialed in here and get a report on just exactly what he saw at Opportunity Corridor. If you look at that lane, and it's kind of tough to see, but the tires have just grooved enough into that ice that's what we're dealing with. And that's where you have a problem. Somebody will try and change a lane, whether it's on a highway, and they cross that ice. And that's where it becomes a problem. And looks like they're going to come to almost a dead stop here. So we'll get Vic here in just a minute. And then we'll take a look at it. I think Vic has now dialed in. Let's see if he's with us. Vic, looks like you're on 490. Did you actually make it to the Opportunity Corridor?
We are right up to the very edge of the Opportunity Corridor. You can see there's a East 55th exit there. We're trying to figure out exactly how they're rerouting traffic. 490, we went from the Jennings to hit 490, which was open, and now we're approaching the 55th Street exit, ready to get onto the Opportunity Corridor, which we know is shut down. In fact, we can see up in the distance, we see some flashing lights up there, so we know that they are probably rerouting. We're not sure if they're going, but it looks like maybe south on 55th Street. We don't know if you can go north on 55th. And, certainly Opportunity Corridor for people that are coming from the south and from the west is a huge time saver for people that are going to University Circle, and a lot of businesses there, the clinic, university hospitals, Case Western Reserve University. And it looks like, I don't believe maybe people are, I think they're starting to let people through, but we'll know a little bit more in just a few moments. We were at a dead standstill when you took us, and we're starting to move a little bit. And talk about the roads a little bit. They are wet. They, again, we're not going fast enough to really see if there's any ice. We see a snow plow next to us, probably a private plow that's going somewhere. It's not one of the state or one of the local cities doing their plowing work. But it's, as we talked about earlier, from area to area and from moment to moment, it's a different condition. Again, this is wet, relatively clear. We've seen really, even on the highways and freeways, we've seen kind of slop-filled road. We have seen ice underneath some of that sloppy snow, creating spin-outs and certainly accidents. We passed by plenty of those this morning. Now, I think we are getting onto Opportunity Corridor. It looks like it's reopened, and we see traffic going both ways. We are heading east toward University Circle. Traffic is coming west. So again, it looks like we are on Opportunity Corridor and we are moving toward University Circle. So I guess that's good news if you're heading to those big institutions that we talked about. But and again, this road here is pretty dry. So it's only 16 degrees, but maybe some of that treatment has worked to get these roads passable and to get people to where they need to go this morning.
All righty, Vic, they're going to need you back on TV, so we're going to cut you loose here. Thanks for that update. As you can see in Vic's camera here, that's the new breaking news. Opportunity Corridor has been reopened and is passable again. So if you were about to leave your home for an appointment, maybe at the Cleveland Clinic, University Hospitals, Case Western Reserve University, Wade Oval, anything in that area, you can now take the Opportunity Corridor is back open. And again, that sun is really deceiving as Vic gets ready for his report. We can actually swap over and see some other trackers out there today. But Opportunity Corridor, yes, is back open. But as I was saying with that sun, but notice our temperature. When we started, when we got on air at about 7:45, it was 17 degrees. Now the sun up, but the temperature down to 14 degrees. And it's going to be this way all day. So no matter where you go, no matter what time of day you leave, you're going to be dealing with this thawing, freezing situation. They might be able to get down some of that ice, or some of that salt. You might get some melting, but as soon as it melts, because it's only 14 degrees, if you get any kind of wind, and there is some wind out there, it's just going to freeze over. Jeff Tanchek himself used the term overnight that we basically had a flash freeze because of just that Arctic air that came in. And it's not going to get any better throughout the day like it normally does. We're just going to have to prepare for the fact that it is going to be one of those really bad days. If you can work from home, first of all, I'm extremely jealous. But second of all, you are in the best place you can be, sitting at home, trying to avoid any and all of the situations out here. Let's take a live look now in the area of the airport. This is I-480 in the area of the I-71 split. And we can see not a lot of traffic there because the backups are so bad. Let's look over here. 71 North has been really the problem. We can still see red lanes of traffic in that area. I want to take one of our other cameras. How about I-71 at Bagley? We'll make this a little bit bigger. You know what? This is market improvement. Take a look at this lower right-hand side. not near the backup. So here we are, 9:17. Let me take this banner down. I apologize for that. Here is the market improvement right here. We're looking at the camera in the lower left, not near the backup that we saw even just a half an hour ago. The message has gotten out. People have gotten off of 71 and are taking other routes to get in. Let's take a look at the camera. And just as I say that, well, it backs up then as we get closer to the airport. Here we are, I-71 at Snow Road. Pretty backed up, but it is clearing behind it, mostly because, well, commuters are either getting where they need to be or people have just gotten off the road altogether, entirely. So that's where we're at with this. I think what we're going to do is, as the morning commute has now basically wrapped up, yes, it's been extended for a lot of people because of the conditions. I think we're going to wrap up our digital coverage here as we continue to look around the area. I want to go back to that jackknifed truck one more time to see where we're at with first responders in this area and tow trucks. Again, we're talking at 271 southbound lanes. And it's as you have to make your decision to either split to 422 towards Warren or stay on 480, maybe towards downtown Independence, that kind of area. And let's take a look here. Still just one first responder, and then we've got that courtesy vehicle. That white truck you see, that's the one that has the flashing lights telling you to get over. So this area is going to be slow for quite some time. Again, if you know somebody that was going to do some maybe holiday shopping, some Christmas shopping in the area of Woodmere and Pepper Pike and Beechwood, and you normally take 271 either coming or going, you may want to avoid that altogether, as there's going to be a major backup because of that jackknife truck. Again, the morning commute is sort of wrapping up, so I think we're going to do the same. If there was to be a major shift, a major change, we will come back to you live here on our digital platforms. Hopefully people have gotten the message. Stay home, work from home. Call the person you know that's driving these directions, 480 at 422, 271. Give them a heads up. If you're headed towards the airport, it looks like it has gotten much better, but it could be a tricky morning all the way around. We're going to keep you up to date. We're going to try and keep you as safe as we can, but again, it's going to come down to the conditions that are out there. Anything else breaks. If things were to change drastically, we'll come back to you live here on our digital properties. Until then, make sure you tune in at 11 o'clock. We've got 11 o'clock news about an hour and a half away on CW43. There will be updated information there, as well as our noon news on Channel 19. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News. Have a good afternoon.
19 News is everywhere. Download our CTV apps and follow us on social media at Cleveland 19 News.